This game's graphics are just beautiful. I better take off 3 cents for it. They removed that cool trailer from the title screen. Then again, if it was here, I'd say it anyway because of how extremely overused the song was in the early 2010s. Why doesn't Russell just make the delivery himself? He literally said he's supposed to do it, yet he's being lazy and making us do it for unexplained reasons. Was Link just woken up now? Darn it, game, I was just about to take off cents for finally having a 3D Zelda where Link isn't sleeping in the beginning. Playing music at grass attracts animals cliche. Colin says the fishing rod will be ready once it's painted. Shouldn't we wait until the paint dries? Just like in Wind Waker, a boy has the same name as Fado, who was a young girl in Ocarina of Time. This music's kinda weird. While this definitely functions better than Beaver Bother and Donkey Kong 64, I'm still going to sit it for reminding me of that awful minigame. Hooray! Forced tutorials! Try watching Milo and Otis and you'll think otherwise. Fishing can be somewhat tedious, but having to do it 30 minutes into the game? Speaking of which, this might be one of the most boring openings to any Zelda game. Easily breakable rocks. Oh come on, that darn cat's getting all the credit for our hard work? Is this grass growing on top of a house? Tusk stash. Link caught a goat with his bare hands. How did these kids put targets this high? Fangirlism. Also, fangirlism towards someone who's probably like almost twice her age. I'm guessing the reason you don't pay automatically when getting potions from Tro's shop is probably to get you in the habit of doing it in real life. But even if you try to come back and pay after realizing your mistake, he still tries to kill you even when you're trying to pay. While he's not as bad as Kecleon in the Mystery Dungeon games who just assumes you're stealing from him just because you don't want to buy something. So that monkey tried to protect Tallow, but it's still its fault that Tallow was captured. I guess I can't be mad at Ilya for getting mad at us for pushing Epona too hard, but how does she know that Epona wasn't hurt by the monsters instead of by us? Convenient Tunnel conveniently lets us get to Epona. I'm gonna feel really sorry for Ilya when Link has a dumper for Zelda. We interrupt this game to bring you Beauty and the Beast. Midna's a jerk to Link. I'm not sure provoking a wolf's a good idea. This is the cleanest sewer ever! Wolf Link must have slip-resistant paws. Roll credits. There's a partly naked statue of Zelda. Well, I guess some will probably like that. Game rips off the Talk to the Animals gimmick from Minish Cap. No one told me I'd need a telescope to read some of the dialogue. Out of everything that could have captured Beth, Hanch assumes it was us. I mean, it would be an okay guess, but it's still a big assumption. We interrupt this game to bring you Beauty and the Beast. Again. Come on, Midna, are you trying to kill us? If it weren't for later in the game, you'd be on my hated Zelda characters list. Why is that call so annoying? This game shares Kingdom Hearts' obsession with the word darkness. Midna must have played Smash Bros. Ultimate. This is Farron? I would have thought Farron was a girl. I'm glad we finally get Link's traditional green outfit, but where's his Ordon uniform? This is easily the best song in the game, and it helps remind me why I love this game so much. It's full of downright irresistible songs. This is arguably one of the best soundtracks in any game I've ever heard, and if I stopped to take off cents every time, I'd be here all day. So I'm going to take off 50 cents. This is the third time in these first 3 hours of the game where we had to go through these woods. This stupid monkey steals your lantern, stopping you from navigating your way through the fog so it can help you navigate your way through the fog. Sorry people who say that Link can't talk, but the hero spirit's supposedly Ocarina Link, so this proves you naggers wrong, and it means you can stop bringing that Link is mute joke into the ground. If Midna's right, then I think this monkey's coming on to us. Do we really need big butts in the Zelda game? Uku's theme sounds like a backwards song, yet when played backwards it still doesn't sound normal. Speaking of which, they look kinda dumb. Why do these bridges have no guardrails? Bridge breaks right after we cross it, cliche. Dodongo Plant. So this bug is what was turning Ook evil, but how did Ook not die during that? Diababa's first phase takes too short of a time to beat. Ook Ex Machina. Now I have to travel on foot through these fields. What did they do to the postman's face? Kind of funny that his theme sounds like a rejected Thomas the Tank Engine song. This bridge looks like a giant staircase like this. These tier fetch quests are an annoying interruption. The game's still incredible, but it has some moments here and there that will really test your patience. Renato conveniently mentions the secret way in the cellar in full earshot of us. I'm glad Colin believes in us, but that's not a very smart statement for him to say. What makes him so sure we even know they're in danger? We stole someone's rupees. Link is a jerk to the owner of the storehouse. Gorons aren't cute anymore. They're still cool though, and at least they're not ugly like their Skyward Sword counterparts. Howl singing. This is funny, but he can guess we're using the lantern even if we're as far away from him in the storehouse as possible. Does he have hidden cameras next to him? That's racist. So because humans aren't allowed, that means you should try to kill us. Link waits to jump out of the way until the last second. Did I mention that the postman keeps interrupting your game? I was about to apologize for putting him on my hated Zelda characters list. Uli, who has a weird name, doesn't notice your new clothes. And she doesn't notice that we stole the sword. Is it just me, or does sumo wrestling feel kind of weird in the Zelda game? The second match with him is so cheap. Don't be stupid, Beth. Why would you stand still as these guys are stampeding towards you? Even when Link sits there when Epona charged right towards him, he at least jumped out of the way eventually. Character shoves someone out of the way and ends up taking the blow for that character cliche. Well, at least it's not as overdone as the damsel in distress cliche, which they looked like they were about to do. How is Colin not getting nauseous from all of this? This joust can be kind of frustrating. All he has to do is hit you once to knock you off the bridge. Awesome shot, but is it even possible for horses to be on one hoof like that? This is why it's probably not a good idea for these Goans to be roaring like this. Even if they have every reason to think Link can't stop them, it's dangerous to be roaring like this towards the edge of a cliff. Why are these Goans talking to us even though they hate us currently? No one notices us cheating by using these obvious and incredibly loud boots. Why does Goro Omoto have craters on his back? This is fun, but it also makes me feel dizzy. All the blood should be rushing into Link's head. With your iron boots on, then Goro can be somewhat annoying. Game inadvertently gives you a sneak peek at Skyward Sword. How were they able to chain Fyrus up if he's this huge? Especially if he could break out of them this easily. Very nice, Mallow, saying I have a little bit of skill because I hit a pole that's hard to hit. This is one of the biggest Hyrule fields ever, and I'm taking up some sins for it. Why is Link still surprised by being grabbed by this big hand? This happened last time too, so you should have seen it coming. Kargrak sounds like a weird name. I heard people call them that in the Let's Play. I actually thought they were called Argraks and they were calling them Kargraks to be funny. I know these existed first, but still sounds weird to me for some reason. The fact that we're thinking about how our childhood girlfriend smells is kinda creepy, considering we're actually human. These shadow bulbins steal Kev's rope kerosene truck to burn this bridge. Link survived this. I'm too old for this cliche. Aqua's theme from Star Fox 64? Midnight has a point. How is this giant volcanic rock still hot after all this time? We've already been here for as long as it takes to do a light bug hunt, so why didn't they just save time and throw us into it right away? Twilight Float actually looks kinda gross. Lanairu must be a rejected Okami god. I like this creepy scene, but it's pretty much the perfect definition of big-lipped alligator moment. Appealing to the foot this much? This face. I don't usually complain about the crackpot inventor character, but this crazy old man takes the bizarreness to the point of being obnoxious. Characters agree to something, but then are informed about the danger and chicken out cliche. I think this probably like 50-year-old woman's trying to flirt with us. That's creepy. If you run out of arrows, you literally can't win this fight. There is no way these keys would fly up here after King Boblin fell. This escort mission can be a bit painful when it gets to this part. Prince Rouse survived being attacked by all those enemies and lit on fire while on the cart. I was really hoping I wouldn't have to add multiple sins at once in a game this epic, but with this disturbing shot of Link looking at a middle-aged woman like this, it looks like I have no other choice. Tama is cheating on us for Ornado. Good. Rotella is perfectly okay with violating this grave. I don't hate Agatha nearly as much as I once did. She is kinda cute, but still unsettling. Maybe the bugs would come to your bug ball if you weren't so obsessive about it. Okay, mistaking an ant for a piece of your cereal, I could do without you saying. How can this Goron survive underwater? I wish you could swim faster like in Skyward Sword. This maze. For some reason, chew jellies give me the creeps. This chew worm isn't drowning in this bubble. This water slide portion is pretty awesome. However, it's really hard climbing back up, even with the iron boots and claw shot. Deku Toad looks disgusting. This water puzzle. When Morpheal eats its own eye along with you, shouldn't its membrane take damage as well? This is one of the biggest Zelda bosses up to this point. Link caught up to an eel with his flip-flops. Blood in a Nintendo game. This tiny crack drained all the water instantly. Zant? Midna's not the traitor. You are. Are Zant's lips glued together? This part is quite powerful. This was what finally got me to care for Midna. However, the music keeps looping for like 20 minutes, which gets repetitive. Also, the enemy music can kinda break up the mood. I guess I can't be mad at someone for kicking a wolf out of their house, but why was their door left open in the first place? This cat isn't afraid of wolves. Thank goodness for these convenient tight ropes. Did these guys not hear the sound of ropes stretching above them? How does Giovanni not starve if he's frozen? Does he know telepathy? How can we understand him if he can't move his lips? Did he open that chest with his mind? This is the last time he can go to the sewer in this game. Thank goodness it has nothing for completionists. Keys are annoying to hit in wolf form. I don't care how strong this wind is. A broken bridge can't support the weight of a full-grown wolf. Zelda ignores Midna's request to tell Link the Mirror of Twilight's location before transferring her life energy into Midna. If we had shown up just a second later, this monkey would have been dead. This forest is part of its protection system in the form of little log swings. This version of Saria's song is just bland, and the Skull Kid's trumpet plays an extremely grating sound. Unlike Ocarina of Time's Lost Woods, which took about 3 minutes to get through, these ones take like 20. Combined with this depressingly boring atmosphere, I'm gonna give it 10 cents. This Guardian just mooned the camera. This puzzle. This sword's almost as long as Link. I'm glad that you can switch between human and wolf form whenever you want, but you can't warp when people are around. I'm not impatient. I was just checking to see if you're open. I hate carrying this water. You don't know where to go, and enemies attack you and force you to keep redoing the mission. And why can't we just put the water in a bottle? That would save us all this trouble. The magic armor says it only drains rupees if you get hit, but it's always draining rupees. Fangirlism. I hate these two. This guy says he's staring down this way because someone's staring at him, but that guy's staring at him because the other guy's staring at him, but the reason the other guy was staring at him is because the other guy was staring at him, and my brain hurts! As previously established, Twilight get mortally wounded by the light, and yet their own home has light, as shown in this shot. Since Zen's turned all the Twilight Realm members into Shadow Beasts, does that mean we murder Twilights every time we kill one? And why does Midna allow us to kill her fellow Twilights? If Midna can lift this entire bridge, why did she think she even needed our help? Being able to hijack the enemy's boards and use them to crash through fences is actually pretty awesome. This is kind of interesting, but what would these Bokoblins' boards think when they see that their masters are roasting one of their brethren? Also, you can find a heart in it, which is kind of fitting, but did they forget to remove the heart before roasting this thing? I think the enemies have the wrong definition of the word bloodthirsty. King Boblin went from being an unfair fight to being the easiest boss in the whole game. His attack is too slow and he can die in half a minute. Your sword can still effortlessly break wood. Who knew that skulls were breakable by swords? Like an Ocarina of Time, Link can push an entire room. Redeads are still annoying with their ability to freeze you. I hate ghoul rats. The main items found in the 4 dungeons in the second half of the game aren't used enough. You know, Zant's right. It truly is amazing we're still alive after all those bridges we had to jump off. Corpse violation. How are these stall troopers not sinking in the sand? This is an epic boss fight with how you ride the spinner and launch yourself back and forth avoiding Star-Lord's attacks. But riding it up takes too long. Slicing Star-Lord's head somehow launches it into the air. How did we get up here so fast? I hope you're not getting dizzy from riding the snake statue. 27 seconds of sinking the statue. So Zant broke the mirror into 4 pieces. But why did he just leave one of the pieces there? Couldn't he have broken it into more pieces, making them hard to find? And there's a revelation that Zant wasn't this game's main antagonist. I don't really mind, since at least unlike Onyx and Veron, Zant was at least able to fight us with his full power, but I bet others would mind it. Wait, Ganondorf had the Triforce of Power? But this is supposed to be from the Child timeline, where he was arrested before he could ever get into the Sacred Realm. Why is this dead sage's mask shrinking? Is Midna sassing these sages? The Cave of Ordeals is even more of a discount pit of 100 trials than the Savage Labyrinth from Wind Waker. You couldn't have told us that we needed certain abilities earlier? Why couldn't they have told us before we fought our way through all those floors? I could maybe understand Ashley disguising herself as a Yeti, but I'm pretty sure her size in her pants would still be a dead giveaway that she's not a real Yeti. I'd say Ashley is near perfect waifu material if it weren't for a creepy face. How would Yeto have gotten into the village without being attacked by the soldiers? I mean, yeah, Yetis are huge, but I'm pretty sure enough soldiers would be able to take him down. I'm really sorry that I couldn't find footage of this, but if you talk to Iza in wolf form, she's brave enough to threaten to skin a wolf alive despite being scared of a tiny little bug earlier. The Hylian gods really hated the reek fish to give them a name like that. It should be harder to climb the steep mountain. Link should be sent sliding down it. This song's hard to memorize. I don't really see why the hero's spirit needed to be split up in order to teach us to jump strike. Okay game, the reek fish we caught was barely as long as our body, but the one Yeto caught was bigger than us. This abominable snowman isn't being voiced by John Ratzenberger and isn't giving snow cones. I see that he rammed that tree for an icy snowboard, but how is that snowboard not shattering from under his weight? And how did the tree not break? This snowboarding segment's fun, but couldn't they have changed the music to something faster paced? Our snowboard breaks, but then it rematerializes. That's racist. For a place called Snow Peak ruins, this place still seems like a nice place to live if you can get past the cold temperatures in some broken areas. Ashley's Yeti hood looked more like a real Yeti head than Yetta's. I see why Yetto and Yetta needed to put the mirror on the top floor, but I'm surprised they didn't get rid of it. When a box this heavy even slide across the floor like that, Yetta telling you the wrong location is actually kind of annoying. How do these cracked pieces of wood never fall off? And it's pretty frustrating staying on them. Oh boy, getting knocked around by this guy is not a pleasant experience. I've never used a mace, but I don't think you should swing those around in narrow hallways. As much as I love the ball and chain, it will leave you wide open after using it. Why is this freezer breathing ice at us if it can't see us? This is a much better jump scare than a certain Super Mario Party minigame. But why does Yetta have a face on the back of her head? Was it always there even before the mirror possessed her? All these ice chunks puncture the floor, yet when they're cleared out, the floor instantly returns to normal. It's actually amazing that Yetta survived all this. I really do like this moment of character growth for Midna. This is a cute scene, but why is Yetta like twice as big as Yetta? I haven't tried these snowboard challenges, but if they're as frustrating as everyone makes them out to be, they definitely deserve a sin. So the same song that attracts hawks attracts chickens too? We have to go through these stupid woods twice? How did these skull kids get past this waterfall? Man, the Temple of Time's got quite the expansion since Ocarina of Time. These floors look surprisingly clean for all the fighting that's been done on them. The way these Armos hold their axes behind them looks uncomfortable. These chests can come around the circle without warning. Why did the builders of this temple put these axes here that can kill people? Did this Darknut really need to throw out his sword? I mean, yeah, he has another sword, but still, what a waste! Here's come Command Melody from Wind Waker. How did the spell raise the statue into it that quickly? One of these small statues makes a big difference. This isn't a bad song, just overrated. I'm not as scared of spiders as others are, but do we really want to watch it give birth? Also, spider eggs don't hatch that quickly. They take a couple weeks to hatch. If the eye on its back was also a spider, how did it breathe inside that armor? Agatha wants to use a dayfly's tail as a braid. You'd think a bug-obsessed girl like her would be against insect abuse. That's racist. But Nani's so creepy. How would these Gorons ever fit through these tunnels? Could Darbus even fit through the door? I mean, yeah, the door's surprisingly big, but look at him. Even those doors would give him trouble going through. Good luck surviving long enough to beat all these enemies. How did these monsters destroy the village but leave Impas? Speaking of which, how is she the only survivor? Surely someone stronger would have survived this attack and apparently couldn't kill a defenseless old woman. Why was she ordered to stay here? She could have died because of them. I've heard of not respecting your elders, but this takes that to a whole new level. Seriously, Midna? No one could see us here. So why won't you let me warp? Also, what's wrong with letting them see us turn into a wolf? They trust us, so if we tell them the wolf was actually us, they'd realize they're not in danger. Heck, even the postman recognizes us in wolf form even before we change back. Okay, this scene of Ilya remembering us is actually really nice. However, now that we have this cute moment between Link and Ilya, I feel like I'm wrong for shipping Zelink. And even if I decide to be on Team Ilya and Link, I still feel like I'd regret it, so both choices feel wrong. It's just like when I try to justify my choice of choosing the Crimson Flower route of 3 houses. We're only now getting this horse call that lets us call Epona whenever we want. They had to wait until the last quarter of the game where non-completionists won't have much of a reason to use Epona anymore. So I guess Impas is the not-so-crazy cat lady. For a house in the destroyed village, Impas' house is, well, less than average, but not too bad. Do they really expect us to memorize this song? Also, the howling part didn't sound anything like the Twilight Princess theme. Seeing Link rip out these ghost souls is pretty horrific. How many times will they make us go back and forth between Kakariko Village and the Hidden Village? If you couldn't warp, I'd give this 5 cents for pulling a duplex on us. You cannot be serious. Now we have to go around the entire Hyrule field and look for these stupid statues? I hate this cliche. Having to go back to the rest of the overworld to get collectibles before you can progress the story. What is the point of this? This lunatic doesn't get exhausted or hungry from working this long. What's with the weird dancing penguin sounds? And that obnoxious singing isn't any better. This might be the longest dungeon in the game, so you're gonna hear this short looping song for a while. These Ukus are walking on walls like they have spider powers, but that's never mentioned again. Monster destroys the bridge cliche. Maybe this arrow foe should try getting a shield that doesn't have a hookshot point on it. This double claw shot is definitely the best form of hookshot without question. This city's builders decided, let's have these claw shot points on these things that'll make people fall into the abyss. If it weren't for these holes in the wall, we wouldn't be able to advance through the city in the sky. How lucky are we? Now here's an even luckier hole here in the exact shape so we can fly on this P-hat through here. Only Wolfling can walk across this rope because that makes so much sense. I just have to take off 4 sins for this absolutely epic fight against Argorak. However, I'm giving 1 back because the best boss so far inspired the worst boss in Hyrule Warriors. Launching out of a cannon from the sky towards the ground would definitely kill Link, but he somehow starts falling slower. This guy is a jerk to Link. I'd imagine that the Mirror of Twilight would be much bigger than that. Is there any reason to make Midna look evil in that flashback? I love this rendition of the boss defeated theme, but it makes it really hard to tell which song is which at times because some songs in this game sound overly similar. Midna says she doesn't want her people to see her as an imp, but then she instantly comes out when we see this person. Well, this place really needs to be dusted. These Sandhand scenes are definitely pretty intimidating, but they can be bothersome too. Dark Waterfall. Slicing away this dark fog or dust or whatever it is definitely satisfying. Zan actually believed that Ganondorf wouldn't betray him. This epic 6-phase battle makes me want to take off some more sins. However, the whole changing the location to places you've already been thing reminds me of this one epic battle from Kingdom Hearts 350 over 2 days. I won't spoil who it is though, but it's still odd that a boss that technically rips this fight off is even better than the one it rips off. Did Zan seriously weigh down this platform? I know he's jumping and all, but he must be overweight to weigh down a platform this big. This stupid face Zan just made. If Midna now has the power to just pop Zant like a balloon, I don't think the other enemies in the game should give us much trouble. But they still do, because how else is this game still going to be a challenge? Seriously? An angry Zelda stamp? How do these enemies just sense us coming in here? Spider Midna. Spidna. Spinda? King Bulblin says he follows the strongest side. Does that mean he's on our side now? If so, he does nothing to help us beat Ganondorf. These torches stay lit in the rain. I really like the feel of this final dungeon. Awesome scene, but it's still a Link's Friends Ex Machina. Why are they giving us Deku Seeds? They're useless by now. Statue Decapitation. Ganondorf looks like he's playing the I'm crushing your head game with Zelda. The idea of fighting a possessed Zelda is incredible. But at the same time, it's yet another Dead Man's Valley game. Why does Zelda or Ganondorf get this cool Triforce attack but we don't? Ganon destroys these pillars, yet his room doesn't collapse from lack of support. Ganon has never heard the phrase, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Ugh, really? Even a game this epic has to resort to obvious fake-out deaths? That's the cheapest possible way to get emotion out of the player and or viewer. Zelda is stopped by the Kingdom Hearts barriers of plot convenience. This entire 4-phase battle is the most epic final boss in Zelda. Sparta Kick. Ganondorf doesn't attack when you equip the fishing rod. That's idiotic. I know that's not what we're supposed to do, but because of it, no one I know takes this fight seriously except for myself. Midna actually read our minds. Darvish should watch where he's swinging his fist. He looks like he's about to hit this Goron. These townspeople are jerks for blocking people from leaving the castle. These guys ride in the carriage while making Colin and Tala walk. Wait, so Midna has magic tears now? Also, why can't she just wait to destroy the mirror until she's right next to it? 3 seconds later and she'd be locked out of her world forever. What are you talking about? I'm not crying, I just have something in my eye. Okay, fine, you got me. I'm going to take off 5 sins for this moment. And thus ends the second to last traditional 3D Zelda we've ever got as of this video's upload date. Since while Breath of the Wild was good, it also strayed too far from its roots. By the way, don't expect me to send that game because of that, and because that video would take an eternity to make. Just like Ocarina of Time 3DS, this game gives us 2 screens of credits when the first one was fine enough, and this one gives us nothing cool to look at like with the first credits screen.